Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. I'm your brother, Old Guy from Hip Hop News Uncensored. And sitting across from me is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Sam and Viral Hip Hop News. We're in the building. It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We love what we do right here, man. Another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. Oh, God, what's good, my brother?
What's good, bro? A Tuesday episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. Every single day, man, going hard. The hardest working, most underrated, underappreciated podcast, man. But once again, we're here. And we got quite a lineup today, man. More of a serious note, definitely, getting started off, what's trending. Empire star, Jusse Smollett was brutally attacked, in Chicago. We're going to be talking about that. Also, DMX talking about rappers promoting drugs. Also, Jusse Santana getting his prison sentence pushed back, as well as some other top stories today. So it's going to be a pretty action-packed program today.
As it is always, man, on the Uncensored Truth Podcast, we like to give you the best content, the most truthful content that we do over here. Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
you know what I mean? But yeah, we like to work over here, and we try to give you the best content. We do what we do. So we got a great lineup for you. We're real excited. Just to recap a little bit on yesterday's show, man, we had a real dynamic conversation. In particular, the LL conversation. I dropped that on Viral Hip Hop News. A lot of people were liking what we were saying, but they were mad that we left Dave East out. Now, I wanted to talk about Dave East because people don't think that we give Dave East the respect he deserves on this podcast, because we never really bring him up when we talk about top artists, young artists. But we both are definitely Dave East fans. I fuck with him from, I think his first album came out in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And I know, honestly, when I heard LL's conversation, or when I heard his questioning, when he said within the last 10 years, I automatically went back 10 years. So like from 10 years on. And when I think about the J. Coles and the Kendricks and Drakes and the Meeks,
right.
08, 09 is about when they kind of really started doing their thing. So I took it from then to now. When I think of a Dave East, 2014, he's 4 years in, even though he's dope, even though I think that he definitely brings that 90s sound, that 90s feeling of hip hop back, that boom bap feeling that we all love. Still has some time. Drop a couple more albums.
I gotta disagree with you. You know what I mean? With that, I gotta say, I think they're right about that. I think you have to, even because what proved it to me when I was able to really hear him, pretty much, with Styles P. It was like, wow, like this dude, really held his own, and a lot of times, had a very great verse. I'm not gonna say it was better than Styles, but he was right there on par with him. They was both shooting J's and dropping them, on that album. So. It is early though. I can understand that argument, but I would have to say that people are right on that one, man. Dave East is a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast, and he's right in our face right now. I just want to put him on a consistent pace. When you think about a J. Cole, a Kendrick, and even a Drake to a certain degree, it's been a level of consistency and greatness that they've always been able to do over a 10-year period, over a decade of time. So that has to kind of be acknowledged. So when I think of a Dave East, I put him in a newer crop of rappers outside of the Kendricks and the Coles. I think that they're kind of elevating to a certain level, an elder level, and now you got the ones coming up behind them, and I put them. A lot of people are saying Joey Badass. You got ASAP, Rocky, and Ferg. Even though I fuck with them, I don't have them on the Cole and Kendrick kind of level, but Dave East for sure. And he has a great opportunity. I like Jordan Lucas a lot. Them kind of crop of rappers to go and take this to the next level.
Tory,
Tory is a great troll. Tory is very talented. Tory is very great at throwing bars together and going at certain people, but Tory needs to put respectable bodies of work together. Not that he doesn't have great work, but if he wants to be respected as one of the greatest MCs, you got to put together a classic rap album. Or where's that at?
That's a good question.
Where's that at?
Tory Lane fans, let us know. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's out there. They don't need shit to let us know.
I mean,
singing, rapping, and all that extra shit. He can rap.
Yeah.
But where's that classic rap? Where's that classic album at? Even like, all right, with the Dave East, Paranoia 2. Like you said, this one, Beloved with Styles P. These are ones where you can go, he has his talent on display, and you go, wow, he can really do his thing. And he can sit up there with one of the greatest of all time, Styles P, sitting up there, one of the greatest spitters, underground spitters, underrated spitters, and go neck to neck with him.
Is it safe to say that Dave East is one of the most underrated rappers, right now? Because a lot of people don't really bring him up in the conversations when you talk about, the top, at least like the fresh, the newer ones.
Dave East is respected. I don't know why we didn't. Shame on us for not putting us in the conversation. And I'm glad that people brought that up to me as I was looking through, because I'm like, damn, they're right. Like when we talk about even the top young rappers, we never talk about East. When we talked about it yesterday, we never brought him up yet. Anytime we're in personal conversation, we're talking about Beloved, we're talking about East. We bring Dave East up because he's respected. So I don't know why he's kind of falls under the radar. Maybe it's the kind of music that they're promoting nowadays, because you hear a lot of the extra bullshit. And like we said, he's that authentic, almost 90s kind of sound that get you back to that boom back kind of feel. And that's not the lane what they're really pushing out here in the mainstream. But he's respected amongst the people that really understand real rap, real hip hop, and real bars. And his fans definitely are letting us know, Dave East is a problem and he needs to be respected.
Shout out to Dave East, man.
We apologize, man.
Yeah, man. We take the G-check on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. But you're tuned into the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Oh God and Sam, man. Going in today on this Tuesday, everybody listening on YouTube, you already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button and make sure that you share this video. Okay, today, man, it was some sad news that came, by way of Empire, star Jusse Smollett. We found out earlier that he was attacked brutally by two men, who beat him up and put a noose around him and screamed, "This is MAGA country." Now, sources directly connected to Jusse, hopefully I'm saying his name right, no disrespect, tell TMZ that the actor arrived in Chicago from New York late Monday around 2 a.m. He said he was hungry, went to Subway, and he said shortly after, when he was on his way home, he said he was, startled by somebody yelling out, "Aren't you that, effing," or that, effing, the F word, on Empire, N word. Now Jusse is saying that both men were white, wearing ski masks. They viciously attacked him. Once again, put a rope around his neck, noose, poured bleach on him. And then after that, yelled, "This is MAGA country." Now, Jusse did, escort himself to the hospital, where he was discharged early Tuesday morning. And, the media outlets started picking, this up. And we do know he was receiving 8 days prior, some hate mail, that was racially charged as well, racist and, homophobic as well, in nature. Sam, man, what do you think about, your initial thoughts on seeing, Empire star? And you were making some, interesting connections, with his family earlier. But what do you think about hearing this, man, initially? What are your thoughts? What's your feelings on this one?
Well, let me just start by saying, and it has no relevance to the conversation and the context. I don't watch Empire. I'm not an Empire fan. I've never really been into it. I know the general conversation. I know the cast of characters. I know that he's on the show. Definitely I know what character he is and all that good stuff. Well, from a personal perspective, this is terrible. This is sad. This is sad on the real to see. This is stuff that you used to hear stories about our parents telling that used to happen in the 60s and our grandparents used to talk about happening. These aren't things that you remember happening in your day and age, especially in the day and age with your children walking around, that a black man that happens to want to sleep with whoever he wants to sleep with can be subjected to such hate to where he has a noose around his neck, bleach thrown on him, and beaten to where his ribs are torn up and he has to feel like he's about to be hung just for going to grab something to eat in 2019.
Do you think this was a setup? Because we talked, in the pre-production extensively about how ironic is it that, he's leaving Subway and, somebody just randomly sees him, has a noose or rope, has ski mask, and just gets into a fight with him, pours bleach on him, and wraps a rope around his neck and say, "This is MAGA country." Do you think this was a setup or just maybe something random? What do you feel about that aspect of it?
He was definitely set up. There's no doubt. Because, unless there's some real fucked up people out there, I don't know anybody that just has nooses in their back seat or in their trunk just randomly hanging around, or mask, that see a perfect situation at 2 a.m. to where they go, "Oh yeah, that's the dude we've been looking for. Remember, that's the guy we sent the hate mail to. Perfect. Let's get him now." No, that had to been someone that was staking him, probably caught him from the airport, was watching his moves, seen the perfect situation at the perfect time, and caught him slipping. Now, my question was, and the thing that really frustrates me is, this wouldn't happen in other cultures. This all reminds me of Emmett Till, and I'm gonna bring the correlation together. Obviously, if we don't know Emmett Till, the young man in Mississippi who was lynched brutally for supposedly whistling at a young lady and apparently groping her, Carol Ann Bryant, back in the 40s. Now, was it back in the 40s and the 50s? Excuse me, at 55. and it was disgusting. But those white people weren't playing that. They thought it had happened. They took care of their business. We see it in the Asian community. We see it in the Arab community, Middle Eastern community. We see it in even the Hispanic community to a certain degree. They don't play that. And we see a lot of people on social media very upset and throwing pictures and showing outrage. But I'm not trying to condone any sort of violence, but I'm maybe kind of condoning some sort of violence. When are we going to go ahead and bust somebody's head to the white meat to let them know they can't do this kind of stuff? What's up?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I get it. You know, it's rough. You know, it's a real horrible situation. You know what I mean? For him to have to go through this on two fronts. You know, them making the jokes, you know, or threats and whatnot about him being, you know, a homosexual. And you know, him, you know, the reference to his skin color. It's something that we've been going through, and it's a reoccurring thing that's been happening. And people stack the conversation nobody really wants to deal with in this country. You know what I mean? Is racism. And we see clearly here that people, you know, targeted this guy. This is a hate crime, you know, and could have killed him. You know what I mean? By all accounts. And, you know, there's no anything to say that these are connected. These are the same people, you know, that sent them the hate mail. We don't know that yet. But it's pretty crazy that this could happen, you know, in America right now. It really is. You know what I mean?
What I don't want to see is this victim shit. And let me be very clear what I mean by that is. I don't want, I'm tired of going now. Let's make no mistake. This brother was a victim in a situation. He was assaulted by two men that ambushed him, had a noose around his neck. This is a victim. He was a victim in this situation, but we cannot go and play the victim role. No, we got to get a little offensive in this situation. We got to start pushing back. We can't just sit back and go, oh no, he was the victim. Fuck that. What's going to happen? So what? They're not going to help the situation. Are they going to find the guys? Maybe, maybe not. Are they going to care enough? Maybe, maybe not. Are we just going to be outraged on social media for a week, take a couple pictures, throw a couple hashtags up, and forget about it tomorrow? Or are we going to push back? Now, you've seen T.I. We talked about T.I. often on this podcast. Like him. Whether you agree with what he does or not, it's up to you. He was probably sharing the same sentiments as I. Like, when are we going to start pushing back? I don't know to what level we got to start doing that, but they got to understand. And they could be whoever the fuck they want. You cannot just shoot us and there just be nothing going on but a bunch of marches. You can't just go ahead and assault somebody in the street because of who he sleeps with and the color of his skin because you think you're justified in doing so. No, right. You can't do that.
Right.
We have legal rights sitting in this country to defend ourselves too.
Absolutely.
And somebody should have did. No, go ahead.
I want to play with Lee Daniels. You know, he was very. Lee Daniels was very. You know, today. You know, vocal about this. So I'll play it right now. Here's Lee Daniels.
It's taken me a minute to come to social media about this because Jusse, you are my son. You didn't deserve, nor anybody deserves, to have a noose put around your neck, to have bleach thrown on you, to be called die, faggot, nigga, or whatever they said to you. You are better than that. We are better than that. America is better than that. It starts at home. It starts at home, yo. We have to love each other, regardless of what sexual orientation we are. Because it shows that we are united on a united front. And no racist fuck can come in and do the things that they did to you. Hold your head up, Jusse. I'm with you. I'll be there in a minute. It's just another fucking day in America.
That clip, you know, by way of Lee Daniels dropping that today on his Instagram, I believe. What are your thoughts, man? You had a lot of different facial expressions over there. I want to know what you think first on this when you're on the hot seat. What do you think about Lee Daniels?
You sure you don't want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You sure you don't want to go first?
Nah, I want you to. People want you to go first.
This is the victim shit I was talking about. And with all due respect, fuck that whole shit. And this is why. You had a conversation personally with this man because we all know it because you took a screenshot and you shared it on social media. Then you take it upon yourself to go on social media and make this announcement from the bottom of your heart on how this is wrong. No shit. This is real Jesse Jackson-ish if you don't kind of smell what the Rock is cooking on this situation. This is bullshit. This is attention being drawn to him. Who cares? You talk to him personally. If you felt this way, you leave it there and you keep it moving. Maybe I'm from a different age where we don't got to pull out our fucking phones and make announcements every time we have a conversation. If this were to happen to you, the last thing I'm doing is getting on my phone and giving a fucking about anything. Getting down there and making sure you're good. We're finding out who this is and we're taking it from there. I'm not worried about making a fucking announcement to the people and letting them know how wrong this was. And this is wrong. You're not going to do this to the gay community. You're not going to do this to the... Shut the fuck up.
I mean, you know, that's Lee, you know, being
sorry,
Lee.
It's uncensored truth.
That's Lee, you know what I mean, being Lee, you know what I mean? Just, you know, that's just him, man, just leaving. It is what it is with that, man.
You can tell me how you feel about this, old guy. You're gonna say
I mean, nah, I think
let me know what you feel about Mr. Daniels. Go ahead.
I mean,
Mr. Daniels, that's funny.
I didn't expect I know, right? I didn't expect him. I really didn't expect him to say, you know, anything. But I think a lot of people are going to agree with what he said. They're gonna be like, you know, well, yeah, we should love all people regardless of their sexual orientation.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And you know, it shouldn't be racist, but there's all those things, you know, here, you know, in this country. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? With your platforms that you got, you know, you're going to, you know, we see what they're doing with their platforms. And I think that's enough to be said there.
Yeah. Let me bring this back into context, because in 2019, we got to bring everything into context. I could be taken way out of context by what I just said. 100% agree. We got to love everybody. Say that numerous times on here. Love everybody. We know that. It's fucked up what they're doing to black people out here. We say that numerous times when he has sent the truth. That brother did not deserve to go with what he goes through. But if you're genuine in what you say and what you feel, it doesn't have to be recorded and made announced. That's some Jesse Jackson shit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And we'll just leave it there. You know what I mean? With that, I think that's you know, that is what it is. But yeah, man, condolences, you know, to that young brother. It's very sad that happened. So that is what it is, man. The Uncensored Truth podcast.
Get well soon.
With your brother, yes, and Sam, man, going in today on this Tuesday. Everybody that's going to be listening to this on YouTube, we need your participation just to do two things. Hit that like button in front of you and go ahead and share this video with a friend. All right, DMX sat down. He got out, you know, of the feds. He's making his rounds, doing interviews. You know, we talked about him yesterday, you know, talking about the gospel, talking about the Bible and whatnot. While he sat down with one of the radio legends, Big Boy's Neighborhood, to talk about one of our favorite topics, drug promotion in hip hop. I'm going to play this clip, Sam, man. We're going to rap about this. Here's DMX on Big Boy's Neighborhood.
Do you feel like rap is being misrepresented right now? Not hip hop, because hip hop is.
Like hip hop is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So is it up to cats like the DMXs of the world to continue to say, no, this is what it is?
Whoever can, not just myself, but whoever has the ability to, you know what I'm saying, first the insight to see it, you know what I'm saying, and you know, the talent and the ability to you know, do the right thing, then, you know, it's all of our responsibility.
Yeah, we definitely, because I even look at it now too, X, and I'm like, a cat that's been able to see it, you know, progress through the years. And there's always been, you know, there's been, you know, the dance rap, there's been this, there's been that. Right. But as you fast forward, it's like, it feel like it's just a saturation of kind of the same thing too, though.
Exactly. And they're all promoting drug use. You know, it's like, if that's what you want to do, you know, that's your business. But you ain't got to promote it like it's cool, make it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like kids walk around, I'm popping Molly and popping Perkins.
So that's DMX, you know, in Big Boy's Neighborhood. You know, very interesting statement there, because we did a few videos, you know, on both our platforms, and talked about the oversaturation or the over promotion of drugs, you know, in hip hop or rap, whatever you want to call it. And not enough people are speaking out, you know, against it. What do you think, though, Sam, man, about, you know, DMX? Now, look, he looks real good, man. He looks real good, you know, sitting there, man, real healthy, actually. You know, now saying that it's too much drug promotion in hip hop. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, as far as I'm looking healthy, that's what happens when you don't get pictures taken to you fresh out of jail. All right. Like giving me a minute to shower and get myself right, and then me come on camera and do things. But anyway, 100% agree with him. Like you said, we talked about this numerous times on both platforms together on the Uncensored Truth podcast, that for some reason there's been an oversaturation of the promotion of drug use, and it went through its cycle. At first it was Molly, and then it was Perks. Now we see the Xanax, and you got rappers naming themselves after Xanax. You got rappers promoting lean in abundance, and rappers being what's the word I'm looking for? Rappers being influenced by other rappers doing lean, so they're out here doing it, and it needs to be addressed. They need to be put on Front Street about it, because ultimately it's killing a lot of the youth. Now, a lot of people in our era and a lot of our parents were saying that they were an oversaturation in drug selling and trying to make that popular. And it was very popular. You know what I mean? We had the beepers, you had the drug, all the nonsense, whatever, just trying to be the rappers that we've seen. So it is a vicious cycle that's going on, and you could kind of point the finger in whatever direction. But today, like no other, we can kind of point fingers and put people on Front Street like we weren't really necessarily able to in the 90s and even in early 2000s. So hopefully this kind of changes the paradigm of what we hear in rap, because there's a great crop of real dope rappers out there that don't have to perpetuate drug use. You could perpetuate how it's destroyed you. No one's saying you can't tell your story, but there's people out here just trying to just sonically put it in your head to do these things.
I think it's to the point now, man, where it's like we have to really start questioning, like, do these people want this kind of music? Because they kind of flock to that type of music, and a lot of people are doing a lot of the stuff that's on the music. Not to say that, you know, that everybody is, but you really do have people that live a certain way of life that are doing that are popping the bottles every night, that are doing whatever they saying in the songs, going to the strip clubs and stuff like that. The D-boys living that lifestyle. So you're always going to have, I think, those rappers. But I think the key, you know, is more of rappers, you know, being so-called bred, you know, like your Kendricks and your J. Cole's, and really have a real message in what they're saying. Sometimes you might have to dabble in that. We don't understand that type of, you know, language in your songs, but ultimately we got to understand that it's a body of work, and that, you know, you have a lot of influence what you say. And if you're saying all the wrong stuff, you're going to influence people negatively. So hopefully, you know, they have a conscience, man, and not just in it for the money and don't give a damn about nobody but themselves.
Well, see, the higher ups know that music is very hypnotic and the rhythm is very hypnotic. And first off, when you look at music, and especially in today's age, you look at a man and a woman. Women want to dance and men want to dance with women. So what's going to make them dance is the beat. So the first thing they're going to go is get you a beat that's going to get you rocking. And then the second that beat going, then they kind of undertone it with lyrics that can kind of get you to subconsciously think and put things in you that you really don't even understand. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of the drug use and the songs that are perpetuating drug use, the first time you listened to it, you probably didn't know what the fuck was going on anyway. You didn't hear the real lyrics. You heard a dope beat, maybe like the way that they were riding it, or heard the melody, the way that they're doing the auto tune and things like that nowadays, and like the way it was rocking. And once you became a real fan of it, got and dug into the lyrics and was like, oh shit, yeah, now let's do this. And this is how you became fans and things like that. So it's a way that they suck you in. Prior to that, no one's really diving into the lyrics the first go around unless you're a real genuine hip hop fan. The person turning on their radio going to work ain't listening to bars. They just want to listen to something to get them going.
That's facts, man. That's a good way to break that down. Definitely.
I mean,
you know what I mean? But yeah, man, you're tuned into the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Old God, and Sam, man. I know Sam, man, you know, Jusse Santana, interesting story on him you had to share with the people. Yeah,
well, we know that he will be going into a 27-month prison sentence for the situation in Newark Airport last year. According to the blast, New Jersey Federal has granted Jusse Santana's motion to push back its sentence. He was initially supposed to head to prison on January 30th, which is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, but surrender his date now has been delayed until February 28th, which is a month from now. The rapper will be heading to Georgia in mid-February to head to Tyler Perry's reunion shoot at Perry's studio in Atlanta. Now, Jusse has recently made the request he's argued that it was vital for his career because the reunion shoot is connected to his participation in Love and Hip Hop. Now, obviously, him and his fiance, his now wife, are on Love and Hip Hop. Do you watch Love and Hip Hop?
Nah.
Yeah, I don't watch that shit. But yeah, it has something to do with him having to fulfill his professional obligation. So they're giving him professional courtesy in the situation. So it looks like he has another month out, another month with his family, another month to make money. Not mad at that. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Dope. I think that's real. Lucky you. I can't, I don't want to see him get locked up, anyway. But, I think that's pretty dope that, the judge is showing him some leniency, because usually they don't give a damn about nothing like that. They don't give a shit about your professional courtesy. So he should consider himself, I guess, blessed, I guess.
Yeah, I would consider myself blessed in a situation when, and it might be to a fact that maybe the judge knew that he had a little bit of an issue. There was a problem going on there, and it wasn't something that was intentional what happened at that airport. Maybe there's a little more into that than what we know, and they wanted to give him professional courtesy to make sure he made the money for his family, his new family that he got going on. So, like you said, blessed. Can't
Yes,
get mad
sir.
at that.
Yes, sir. But everybody listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast, and you have to do me 2 favors: hit that like button and go ahead and share this video. I want to throw the story in the mix real quick. I thought this would be dope to talk about. Sam and Baltimore now, is working to eliminate marijuana possession laws. Now, we all know it says marijuana may be illegal in the state of Maryland, but the city of Baltimore is moving in the opposite direction. According to the New York Times, the city will no longer prosecute marijuana possession cases and will fight to drop 5,000 already made convictions. Now, the city's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, made the announcement and told the publication how the move will mend the broken relationship between cops and citizens. She goes on to say 2/3 of the residents in Baltimore are black. Between 2015 and 2017, more than 90% of the low-level citations for marijuana possessions were issued to that demographic. Now, Marilyn Mosby, everybody knows. I forget the brother who was killed. Forget his name. It's not ringing a bell right now in Baltimore. She was, I remember her a few years back, being involved with that. The brother that was killed in Baltimore. I can't remember his name by the police.
Mike Brown's in. That wasn't
that was St. Louis, but anyway, we'll get to it. But what do you think about this though, Sam? Man, her
Castillo.
I'll get it in a second once you go. But what do you think about this though? Baltimore eliminating marijuana possession charges. I know how you feel, but go ahead, tell the people.
It's a great thing. One, and I mean, just because everybody knows we were pro marijuana like a motherfucker over here. We all know that. Wake and Bake podcast coming soon exclusively on Viral Hip Hop News. But the more important thing about this is, we know a lot of situations come about because they're allowed to search you because of as soon as they smell marijuana, that gives them the right to search you. Mm-hmm. And the second they search you, they're looking for something deeper. Now, a lot of people in situations, you out here hustling and things like that, but you are hustling because you have no other way out. And they know that. And it's a vicious cycle that goes on. And the reason that they're allowed to search your car is because maybe you were smoking. Mm-hmm. That won't allow. They won't be allowed to do that anymore. Right. That's huge.
Right.
You're going to see crime go down. You're going to see incarceration go down, and you'll really be able to just not allow that to be an excuse anymore for them to just be able to freely go in your car and look for anything. So now you just got to ride around a little smarter, have everything tucked the correct way, because now marijuana won't be the reason they can go ahead and tear your life apart.
Right. And this to reiterate the story, it was the death of Freddie Gray. Yeah, in that situation. But that was a sad, story down there. What happened with that whole thing. But yeah, she was like in the middle of that, so I do remember her. But yeah, that's dope that she's moving, to do something about that, because that's crazy, like you said.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, like I said, you should see crime go down. You should see incarceration rates go down, because now the ability to search people's vehicles and houses and things like that won't be out there. You won't see a P&B Rock in jail if they didn't smell that if they smelled that marijuana and things were legal in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So good move in Baltimore.
Yeah, definitely. It's a start. Definitely a start. Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely, man. Yeah, another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast in the books. We'll be back actually for our live show. Will be Friday night, 8 p.m. on the Uncensored Truth podcast channel, or Hip Hop News Uncensored, whatever one. Probably Hip Hop News Uncensored. We'll probably go live on that one, for a few more weeks. But yeah, man, definitely excited, fired up. The Wake and Bake podcast coming real soon, and definitely, man,
give that about another couple weeks. I think, let's say about March, just to give y'all like a legitimate amount of time, and we'll have that going, and that's gonna be dope. You'll get another side of Sam Ant and Oh God,
yes sir,
the brothers at the Uncensored Truth podcast. Man, we're gonna be waking and baking and giving some truth. You know how we do. Can't wait to come back on Thursday for another episode 108. That would be this episode 107 in the books. You know how we do. #Content Kings. Make sure you subscribe to all 3 platforms. The platforms. All in the description box right now. And check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all major online outlets. We appreciate all y'all support, man. Another episode in the books. We out of here.